Hello everybody, today I'm going to be checking out a new deck that has been popping up on Arena, and it's been out I think for a week or so, or maybe even longer on MTGO. Some people have been talking about it recently, and it's been brought up to me in the past. I never really thought much of it really, because it does feel like it would be a little bit weird, like a little clunky, a little too linear in a way. It's hard to describe my feelings about this deck when you first see it. It doesn't look like it would work. But then the more you think about it, the more it kind of makes sense. So I figured I would just try it out and see for myself, as I've not played a single match with it. I haven't seen anybody else play it. I played against it twice with my Mardu midrange deck, and it didn't feel like a very good matchup for me. So that's already a good sign for this deck. I don't know if it's gonna do very well against Grixis, but one thing that stands out to me about this that makes me think that this deck might actually be viable is this right here. I think 4 Field of Ruin is pretty much a meta destroyer in some ways. Like even in my Mardu deck, I'm not running any basics, for example. So what I basically lost to Field of Ruin by itself when I was playing against it. So this forces people to play basics. But then again, once people start playing basics, this obviously gets less powerful. So if I had to guess, this deck I don't think we'll see much play in the long run. I think this is just like a very specific timeline type deck where it's going to pop up, it's going to destroy everybody, people are going to adapt to it, and then it might lose a lot of power. Right now, it does feel like this has the potential to be tier 1. It seems to be like kind of doing really well against everything. Well, again, I'm not sure, I have to play it for myself. So this is kind of a first impressions video where we're going to play it and we're going to see how it does. But I do think this deck will most likely not be a mainstay, but I'm not 100% sure. It's like we do have a lot of tools in standard to deal with artifacts. We have Loran in white, and we've got a Braids, we've got a Brotherhood's End. I feel like that's already enough to kind of disassemble this deck. Also, counterspells. It feels like counterspells are going to be a huge problem for this kind of style. But I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. It's so hard to evaluate a deck like this that's very focused on, I don't know, like card advantage plus annoying creatures, like a few annoying creatures, especially Cityscape Leveler. I love this card. I'm happy to play this in any deck. So this is I'm mostly looking forward to playing this, and maybe Field of Ruining some Greed Lords like myself who are playing zero basics. This is a list I got from MTGO. Actually, not MTGO, but MTG Goldfish, I think. It was by Kawai Reo. I think a professional player. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, credit to them for this list. I cut a Strangle for a Burn Down the House. I'm not really sure if that's correct or not, but it felt like Strangle doesn't seem like it would be good. You know what? I might just cut the Strangle period and just play another Braid. I don't know if you need a I guess for soldiers. I'll just play another Surge. I don't really know why you wouldn't play another Surge. What about Command too? I don't know. I'm gonna leave the deck as is. I'm gonna trust the process here. I think there are a lot of different builds of this deck. There's definitely a build with Urza's Command, I think it's called. Maybe even with that, yeah, this thing, I've seen people play this. I've seen people play the 3 damage, sorcery speed blast. Let's see. 3 damage. The one that makes a power stone, yeah. The excavation explosion. I don't know if that's good either. But anyways, I'm just gonna trust in this list. If you have recommendations for lists that you think are better, go ahead and leave that in the comment section down below. And yeah, let's just jump into some games and see how it goes. If you enjoy this video, go ahead and click that like button, and don't forget to sub to my channel for more videos. And yeah, let's jump into it. All right, we're on the draw, which is I don't really know how this deck plays. Feels like it should do okay on the draw. Okay, we are against Grixis, which is the matchup I was thinking this deck wouldn't be good against, but this is the match to find out if what I'm thinking is correct. Like, I'm just really scared that Grixis just has way too many tools to outmaneuver, you know? Like the counter spells, the abrades, the what do you call it? The Brotherhood's End, the Invoke Despair that you're most likely not countering, I would assume, or can't counter. A lot of things that I don't feel comfortable with in this matchup until you get to 9 mana, and then, obviously at 9 mana, I feel like this does pretty well. Drawing or holding up counterspell? I think I just draw here. What are the odds that they have exactly Shield Red? I mean, it would kill me though. Like, it would actually end the game, right? That is a little bit scary. Let's play around it. It's still 1-for-1. I don't know. I'm a little scared. I do feel like, as a Japanese list, I can see a lot of things that I don't necessarily feel comfortable playing with, like Essence Scatter over Make Disappear. But again, I'll trust their deck building skills and see where that leads me. I think I'll make another few videos on this deck if I do end up enjoying the gameplay of it, and craft my own build. Because usually I like taking a lot of liberties and making a lot of changes, but for a first impressions video, I figured we should stick with the with whatever works. I mean, so far it's been going alright, but they had mostly nothing to do. Grixis, when they go fast, I feel like that's when they're at their most powerful. But they didn't have Fable. They had one Abrade, but they also have a Make Disappear. That I know for sure. I forgot we were also playing Fable. That's pretty interesting, although Fable only really works with Cityscape Leveler. I don't really think that this has much use outside of ramping and discarding, which is already huge. But that's the thing with Fable, is that even in decks where the copy ability is not that relevant, everything else is just so powerful that it doesn't matter. It's just a good card. It's still absurdly powerful. I was just thinking about, like, what can you actually do with it, and it doesn't seem like you can do that much. Except for copying itself, which is huge, and copying Bankbuster for more cards, potentially, like, far into the late game. That would be a consideration. Essence Scatter is kind of interesting, because it will always counter Shield Red, and Shield Red is pretty much the huge problem for this deck, I feel like. Because you have no removal for it, really, other than... Well, I guess you do. The Might Stone, Weak Stone, you really want to cast that for draw, I feel like. I could be wrong, but I feel like you always want to cast that for draw. I'm pretty comfortable with just holding everything here. Maybe just cycle... I mean, I don't really like this, actually. I don't really like the Sanders Lounge. I'm gonna get rid of it. The rest does feel like it's okay. One thing I have to be considerate of is the fact that they most likely have Corpse Appraiser in hand because they've been doing nothing. They 100% have Make Disappear, maybe even 2 copies, and they obviously have 1 Corpse Appraiser at least because they're waiting for me to play a creature. I think we start with the field. Just get rid of this. See how many basics they're playing. It's kind of like a check. I don't think it matters what I grab, right? Mostly red, I would assume, because of this. Alright, they do have another swamp here. Okay, I'm going to be casting... That's actually a decent draw. I'm going to try to cast my stone, Weak Stone. But I don't want to. It's a little bit awkward. Let's start with this. I could also wait and then copy out with Reflection, but I have a feeling this is dying. I also do want a Stern Lesson here, but... Let's go with this. Double Counterspell would be interesting, forcing me to tap out. Let's draw 2 cards, try to find land. That's going to be pretty important if I can find it. I didn't, but I did find a Bankbuster, which uses the mana from this relatively well. Better than nothing. Having to discard is also a little bit unfortunate. Ah, that is not good. The reason that's not good is that I'm capped out here. Although they should have countered this early. I found a land. That's unfortunate. Alright, Stern Lessons can most likely go... Make Disappear. You know what? Make Disappear is definitely better than Essence Scatter in this spot. Is the Abrade actually worth anything? I don't really see why I would need Stern Lesson in this spot, though. I'm doing pretty good. I want to hold this for sure. I think it's got to be Stern Lesson. It's a little clunky. I don't really want to discard much. I feel pretty good about this because it can still catch Invoke here. And then this will always catch Appraiser or Shieldred, which I'm kind of happy with. Every single case feels like it's going to be good. Oh, that is not good. Alright, this has to be a Make Disappear then, as respect... To respect the... Oh, I can't crew? Oh, because it's tapped. Wait. Oh yeah, I'm dumb. Okay. So I guess I have to... Wait, what is this for? Blue and discard 2? I should probably get rid of it, realistically. Make sure it doesn't hit the board. It's still pretty good for them. I would like to hold this for Invoke Despair, but that's probably not happening. They will have the mana to pay for it, so I might as well use it now. I'm losing the pilot though, which is fine. Yeah, it should be okay. Got another land. Skitter Beam will get countered. Well, this will also get countered. Kind of interesting. I feel like maybe I just cast this for 5, honestly. They could kill it and then try to cast Appraiser, but I have an answer for it. Okay, they have no interaction. Alright, that's good to know. So it's only the counter spell that I need to be worried about, that I've known that they are holding for... They've been holding for the entire game, essentially. There's the Corpse Appraiser. I will be countering that. Now, if they want to sacrifice their Urtai just to get it down, that's also fine with me. That allows me to play a Skitter Beam Battalion for 9. I think would be pretty good. I could have also abraded first, but no, that's dumb because then they can just use it. I was trying to think about all the options and then the option being bad. Not a great idea. This is still a very good position. Feels like the only reason I did win this game, if I am gonna win it, is because of the lack of aggression early game. They just did not present any threat at all. Surprising. Let's go with this. Just want to be mana efficient to lead into the battalion. Alright, this game won us a huge advantage. I'm happy about that. Alright, sideboarding is going to take some time to master, especially against Grixis. I'm not 100% sure how you approach this. Definitely feel like the counter spells are quite good. Stroke seems interesting. Like it sounds like it would be good, so I should probably play it. So is that the game plan? Just playing a bunch of counter spells? It's actually very difficult to sideboard with this. This is always good, obviously, because if it gets countered, it still destroys something. So I'm always happy with this. I'm probably not playing this. The Sahili is most likely good, actually, if I had to guess. The problem is we have way too many good cards, and that seems to be... Yeah, it seems like this deck doesn't feel like it's going to be sideboarding very well. Like, you're going to have to be cutting either core cards, or... I think it's mostly just cutting the 4x copies of spells. Like, I think Mightstone, Weakstone, like all of these things, I feel like you might have to trim down, make it a little easier to... Like, Brotherhood's End sounds like it would be necessary, but to what extent? Maybe 2 is probably reasonable. Essence Scatter over Make Disappear. Make Disappear is pretty good because it does stop. I think it's Essence Scatter that's got to go. And then maybe... Damn, this is bizarre. Could be the copy of a Braid. I feel like a Braid's pretty good. Could be another Battalion. I feel like that's also pretty good. It could be a Bankbuster. You know what? It's probably a Bankbuster. I'm not 100% sure. I find this deck really difficult to sideboard with so far. That's my first impression of it. Seems like everything is just very good. So you have to replace good cards with other good cards, and I'm not 100% sure which ones you're supposed to prioritize, so... I don't even know if keeping this hand is actually a good play, but we'll find out. Duress, take Bankbuster. Yeah. Now we might enter the situation I was describing earlier about the Grixis matchup, which is early aggression, as in Fable turn 3 pretty much. And that potentially being something I can't overcome. Alright, that's not Fable. I think it's mostly about Fable. Okay, now we don't need to worry that much about Fable with the negate. I do feel like leaning into counter spells seems to be a valid strategy. So maybe leaning even harder into that. With like Bankbusters, you can hold up mana and then you can draw a counter, which sounds pretty good. So maybe going more into a controlling style instead of trying to... That's interesting. I could have taken their blue source, but I wanted to obviously hold up the mana. Now, I don't think they're playing an island, because that would pretty much screw them over. Again, I do really, really, really like this Field of Ruin. These Field of Ruins. I feel like it really messes with a lot of people's deck building. We want the red for Brotherhood's End. They don't have a blue source. That's beautiful. That is very good. The problem is I'm going to have to take this damage. Which sucks. Because I need to hold this up. Or Invoke Despair, which is their main way of getting back into this. I think they're going to discard a Corpse Appraiser, potentially. They have a second one? No, they don't. They're going for the damage strat. Which might work. I'm down to 11, which is... pretty rough. Against a deck with a lot of reach. Hopefully I just, you know, get a shield red off this or something. Alright, sure. Brotherhood's End, as I expected, would be pretty impactful in this game. Kind of my main way to come back on the board. Because they do have relatively good aggression in that deck in general. I have a really good set of cards here. No interaction though. Like no direct damage interaction, as in removal spells, so that might be a problem. I guess this technically counts, but we're relatively far away from that. Potentially 2 turns out, though, with the Fable. I'm assuming they're just gonna destroy... Ooh. I like that. I really like that. That's a really good draw. So that might guarantee that I get it. Although we will be discarding one card. We'll see. Sure. Most likely they're taking Stern Lesson, but... Well, actually, no. They have to start eating away at my counter spells. I'm assuming they have at least one Invoke in hand. Otherwise, their hand was relatively weak. Yeah, I don't think I would keep this hand unless it had an Invoke. So, if I assume they're a good player, they most likely do have the Invoke in hand. Yep. They have to eat at the counter spells. Kaito is okay. It's mildly annoying because it's gonna draw a card, but yeah. But you know what? It might not even draw a card because I think I'm just casting this no matter what. Yeah, that's perfect pretty much because this acts as a land kind of with the Power Stone. I feel like I definitely hold on to both of these. Oh, these can gain haste. That's insane. Okay. When 0, we go here. We go... We let them invoke, I think, right? That seems to be something I'm considering. I could also not cast that and just take them off of invoke for a while and just scry and draw, which now that I'm thinking about it, seems like the better play. So let's go with that. Yeah. I am okay with that. It's not the best thing on this turn exactly, but still good. I think just taking them off of Invoke for the near future is probably a good plan, and then I can potentially cast this and hold this up next turn with the extra treasure. Also going to be pretty good. It doesn't stop them from drawing. That was the one downside of not doing this. And honestly, if they did cast Invoke, it wouldn't be that bad. I think what I was most afraid of was something like an Abrade on this. And then Invoke. And then I would have no board. It would be a little bit annoying. Theoretically, they also lose this. I could Skitter Beam Battalion for the 5 here as well. Or I could activate Sahili and make those 1/1s. Harvester. Okay, I think I'm gonna Skitter Beam Harvester. I'm gonna Battalion here. Essentially. Easiest way to hold up mana. Get a lot of attackers. I'll think about it. We'll see what happens this turn. I'm also considering just minusing here. And holding onto the Battalion for a later turn. Doesn't sound too bad to me, honestly. It will die to this, though. No, because I'm casting this. Yeah, okay. If I am casting this, then I think minusing is reasonable. I'm going to be destroying this, essentially. I'll get the kill on this, but again, I don't think I really care about that in this position. I don't really need the copy on the Cityscape Leveler. They're pretty much out of permanence either way. If they counter, that's fine. Again, still kind of a similar position. The destruction effect not being tied to the spell resolving is just... This card is beautifully designed around these types of interactions. Still getting the destroy effect is just massive. And then you also get the unearth aspects. Quite good. And they've just used the hard counter, so most likely this will resolve, if I had to guess. Corpse Appraiser is annoying. It's not the worst thing ever. They're out of mana as well, so this is resolving. That's dying as expected. I can do this and hold up stroke, which should be good enough to win me the game here. Me tap an untapped artifact. Alright, let's just do it the way I think I should do it. Maximizing my damage here. Holding this back. And most likely not drawing a card. So just to put them at 2 essentially, right? I can just use the scry off this, realistically. I'd value the damage over the card. Honestly, that's... the scry is more than enough. Then I don't need to draw this in this spot. So we've got a counter spell, we've got a huge board. Can't die to invoke. Could maybe die to some kind of crazy serpent gameplay. Like serpent plus counter. But I would still be able to block, but I think it gets... does it get trample? Yeah, the question with the serpent is, does it get trample? If it does, because I think it's haste, but if it's haste and trample, I guess I could still block here and they wouldn't be able to invoke. No, it would not kill me. No, they can't do everything. So yeah, it would not kill me. Alright. Was that a convincing win over Grixis? Not really. I don't think it was, because if you rewind that game, they never hit Fable on 3 on the play. They never hit Invoke on 5. They missed their 2-drop every game almost. Well, actually, I think they did. Didn't play a 2-drop. They played it on 3 in game 2. And it was still like relatively close if you think about it. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing how this could possibly be a good matchup for this deck, but... okay, we're on the draw. And this hand is very good. I'm happy with it. Again, I do feel like this deck could potentially use a burn down the house in the main deck, but we'll see. Question is, do I want to Brotherhood's End that? Or do I play my own Bankbuster? Let's just pass. It's unfortunate they hit it on 2, but it is what it is. I'm gonna have to take a bunch of weird lines to deal with it, essentially. Kind of sucks. Oh, that's good. That is pretty much perfect. So I get a free blood token. Problem is, if they keep the aggression up, I'm gonna be in trouble. Like with the essentially Shieldred coming down would be what I'm thinking would be the worst case scenario here, because obviously this deck has no way of dealing with it when it comes down. I would need a Mightstone, Weakstone, and I don't even have 5th land. So I'm pretty fucked in that case. Is there any answer to Shieldred, realistically, that I could play and that I would be happy with playing? Maybe the 5 damage removal spell. I don't know. Think about it. Yeah, playing the 3 mana deal 5 is probably the most reasonable thing I can do. This might not be Grixis. Which is kind of reassuring, because the counter spells are one aspect of Grixis that is essentially their strongest aspect. Okay, that sucks. Damn, I wish I drew that earlier. Not the worst situation, not the best. Invoke on 5. See what I mean? When you're against a Grixis player that actually plays the aggressive route, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble because you're always going to be behind, and they have a lot of reach, and you don't really have ways to deal with that reach easily. Unfortunately, I have to minus here. I want to use the Abrade, but I really need this Power Stone to come down. So let's go with the minus just to not risk any damage coming down, and I think I just draw. Try to find a land. And I did. Alright, we can cast this next turn. If I had drawn that next turn, then we wouldn't be able to play this, so that's good. Ooh, very interesting. So, no play is a fantastic sign for me. Should definitely draw first. Find a land, I'll be happy to play. Well, it's not exactly the land I had in mind, but I think I'm still playing it. We've gone so 2 out of 4 invoke. That's good news. The problem is I still have to deal with 2 more, and we're at 7, so. This is why I don't love this matchup, and I feel like maybe if we had a little bit more counter magic, I'd feel better. Like if I had maybe 1 or 2 extra negates in the main deck, something to counteract this, I'd feel a lot better. Alright. That's fine. They're going down their blue source. I still don't have a Field of Ruin. I think Field of Ruin is just insane. Like taking them off blue seems to be like really, really efficient. I don't think they're gonna counter this, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna counter this. They are pretty fucked if they do, because they have 1 blue. And they already have to deal with Bankbusters on blocks. Doesn't sound like the best deal for them. We're down 2 Corpse Appraiser as well, which is a card that, you know, does really well against me because of a Cityscape Leveler. This is kind of a bait in some way. Yeah, I feel really good about this position now. That seems to be a really bad play for them. Surprised they actually took it. Ran with it. And get Leveler down. Problem is they could find like removal spell plus shield red. That wouldn't make me that would not make me very happy, but so far they don't have a removal spell. And Invoke is fine. At least I hope it's fine. I mean, it's not that fine. It's actually not that fine. Maybe I should have sacked a Bankbuster instead. I don't think so. So the only way they kill me is with the last Invoke. We're not even halfway and they already drew 3. I'm feeling pretty good. I still have a few counter spells, as in, well, mainly 2, just to make disappear and the negate. I think I should have sacked the Bankbuster instead. This can only destroy non-land permanents. Yep. Interesting. I have a lot of ways to dig for that counter spell, or even try to find Battalion to end the game early. I only need 2 turns, I think. In 2 turns, they are dead. On average. Okay, that sucks. So now it's no longer 2 turns. I need like a Battalion now. Didn't find it. This sucks. Start off with the draw. Or I start off with replaying this probably. Shield Red's scary though, but I can just level it. I'm gonna have to take the 2 anyways. Yeah, let's start off with this. Draw 2. Double Fable takes them off the... Takes them off the Invoke WinCon. Very happy with. Probably attack. I don't think they run anything that has haste. Most likely. Could lose to Serpent, but I feel like I need the 4 damage more than I need to play around Serpent here. Actually, I can kill Serpent. Oh no, I can't. No. Eh. It's a risk worth taking when I have 8 damage in the graveyard, I think. Serpent's not that common. Can I somehow find lethal next turn? Ah. 8 damage. If I find a battalion, I don't think that's lethal. It'd be pretty close. They don't really have many good cards left. That's the only reassuring thing. It's mostly about them finding a shield red, finding more counter magic maybe. Nah. Counter magic's not really gonna do it. Mostly about shield red and the last invoke. And maybe another Braid. Yeah, Braid's like one of their best removal spells. I'm really digging for Battalion and another Cityscape Leveler, another Bankbuster, the counter spells, and you know, I'm halfway through the deck and I'm almost halfway, and I haven't really found cards I really need compared to them. But we're still holding on. We're still holding on. I wish we had like a little bit of life gain, just a little bit. There's no way to gain access to that, is there? Unless we play another color, which could honestly happen. That is very unfortunate. 33 cards left. 4 Invoke. 2 Corpse Appraiser. Oh man, that just sucks. And we're at 2. We're extremely vulnerable to Shield Red, and I have no way of playing around the Invoke here. Thank God for Fable, but being at 1 against Grixis is not a good thing. Definitely not. Bankbuster is totally fine. That is not lethal. I still have a lot of, you know, chances to find counter magic. That's not it. I will keep one Abrade and ditch the other, probably. Is it possible that I need another Abrade in this spot? Yeah, I would have had lethal too, actually, because of the yeah, that's crazy. If they didn't have that, I would have been able to find lethal. Stern Lesson is decent. I think I ditched an Abrade, try to find Battalion. I'm gonna start with this. Still nothing. I absolutely need a counter spell here. So let's just try to find it. Okay, very interesting. Again, still the same situation though, where I kind of just need a counter spell. I think I put the other leveler in the graveyard. I'm not casting it this turn. At least I don't think I am. I could just not play around Shield Red, which I don't think is a good play. I'm just gonna keep digging. I think that's my best shot at winning from this spot. Just finding one of those freaking counter spells or another Abrade to deal with Shield Red when it pops down. Oh, I have no more Abrades. Well, Essence Scatter. I have 3 counter spells. Well, actually, only 2 deal with Shield Red, kind of. Still nothing. That sucks. Well, still have 1 chance of finding it, but at this point I feel like I'm just playing into their Make Disappear, so maybe I should just slam this, but that also plays into Counterspell. Oh, man. I'm definitely casting this, so let's just... yeah, let's start with this. They obviously don't have Shield Red in hand, so they have 2 draws for it. I wouldn't say those are the best odds for them, realistically. Who knows? I don't want to tap that if possible. They will die next turn, guaranteed. Pretty much guaranteed. So I'll destroy this. 1 more draw for Shield Red. Do I activate this? No. That gives them additional odds at finding Shield Red. I should not do that. This will be able to crew next turn. Battalion comes out. But I think I can also bring out the Leveler. That's not Shield Red, and it's what they played first, so they probably don't have it. Looks like I might have this if they don't have interaction. Barely. Discard this. Oh, nice. So this costs 3 mana. Alright, for sure this is being cast for 5. And then the other one for 5, it should just be straight lethal, right? I don't think I need to bring out the Cityscape Leveler. Let's see, let's start with this. I feel like this is always happening. I could also probably find the mana for this as well, right? It's just a safer play. Yeah, I do have the mana for this. Perfect. I don't think there's a reason to go for Cityscape Leveler. It's not guaranteed to survive, and it needs to attack to destroy, which would be pretty bad mana usage. I feel like even if they have a removal spell, let's say they remove this. They block both of these. And I've got way over lethal, yeah, okay. That sounds like it'd work. Problem is, could have a counter spell. Means I should probably cast this first. Although wait, no, they can't counter this if I do it. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to. 5 plus 2. I mean, they would be able to, but they would have to sacrifice. Oh no, would they be? Am I making a huge mistake here? Possibly. No, they don't. They only have access to 3 mana. This doesn't count. Okay, so actually, yeah, we're good here. Yeah, we're safe. Because if they do end up countering this, they would have to spend a creature as well, which means that my board is already lethal, so they just lose. Yeah. No matter if they counter this or not. Ooh, that's... I didn't consider negate, but again, that's still fine, right? I saved enough mana for all of this. And I don't think it's worth crewing this, actually. because it's the same. They would block it. So, all right, very good. Close one again. No shield red. I think they did draw all invokes though, and I survived all of them. Kind of interesting. I did need Fable to counteract the invokes though. If I didn't draw Fable, I would 100% lose the game. And they didn't find a single shield red. Again, it's these matches are so close, and I don't feel like they're drawing very well. Although they did draw 4 invokes, but again, I don't think invoke is the main. It's pretty good though. I can't really say it's not the main thing. I'm terrified of shield red. Even though I know I can kill it in multiple ways. Just like if it comes down early, the damage ramps up by so much, and it shuts down pretty much every aspect of my game plan, which is like drawing here, discarding here, and redrawing. Feels like it just puts like a massive wrench in this game plan, and with 0 answers early, I feel like you need answers for it. I have to play answers for it. That's what I'm thinking. I have to respect it. Which probably means playing all 4 Might Stone, Weak Stone just because I have to respect it. Although they'll have many answers for it, realistically. Let's cut a Skitter Beam Battalion as I did before. Is this what we're running with? I did board in Saheeli last time, and it was decent. It was decent. Is it better than Bankbuster? You know, part of me says that it is. I think it might be. I feel like Bankbuster is like pretty clunky against them. They have a braids. It's still good, obviously, but let's run it how I ran it. I think it's Skitter Beam's gotta go for Weakstone here. Weakstone killing Shield Red is just way too important, I think. But I am cutting like a creature. This deck is so hard. So confusing to sideboard with, I feel like. Every card is just so good. It's a sign that the deck is strong. That's what I like about it, is that I think this deck is good. It might actually be Stern Lesson that has to go sometimes. I'm definitely considering that more and more. Stern Lesson is a card that is obviously good, but is it better than your other cards? I feel like in this deck, when you're facing a mid-range grindy matchup, you have to consider like what the power level of your cards are and not what enables your other cards. Like you cut some of the cards that need enablers, like Skitterbeam Battalion, but you should also cut some Stern Lessons potentially. That is not a card I want to deal with right now, I'm gonna be honest. I want to play this, so I kind of feel like I was locked into that decision of countering whatever they play. Because I need to play Fable. I absolutely need to play Fable here. In a position where I have pretty much nothing going for me. Wow. Surprised. But I still have blue up. So they obviously have a counterspell, and I do too. I think this is a position where I actually do not want my Stone Weak Stone, but yeah. Holy shit, we are dead. 27 lands, and somehow I'm stuck on 3 after keeping a 3-lander. Oh my god. That is just extremely disappointing. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm gonna lose because of a mana screw. Yep. I actually would have won that. Oh my god! Oh, that is just so painful. Oh. I could have passed, but then like, then they have the counter still. There's just no way. I had to risk it there. Like, there's no guarantee I draw land, so I really need this to force land next turn. And then they would probably just not play this and hold up the counter. I fall further and further behind it. Probably lose. I could like kill this maybe. They had to have a 3-card combo of counterspell, invoke, and land, basically. I would have been fine with just keeping the Bankbuster. Alright, so... let's go with the Bankbuster plus pass, and then I guess I try to kill that. At the... well, I'm probably gonna draw realistically, but at this point I have to take pretty large risks. Go even lower on health to try to stabilize this. Sure, I guess I'm going for the Brotherhood's End instead. I have to go for like extreme value at the cost of my health at this point. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. Sure, that shows me they have no counterspell, which means I could never have to play around it again for the near future. Good land. I might be relatively stable in this spot. These are mystery cards and most likely not land, but I feel relatively okay because I know they don't have a counter, so this is getting countered, which is good. And then I get to resolve a Fable, which is also good. They're choosing to do that first, which is a kind of a panic move. That's okay. I wish I drew a land so I can double Fable just to be extremely safe. Against Turn Lesson feels like a card I should be cutting on average. I think we just deal with that. Oh, let's see, what do I want to kill here? It's probably Blood-Tithe Harvester. That's a pretty good draw for them, though, all things considered. I don't think I care about the Goblin. Well, that's pretty good. Against Turn Lesson doesn't seem like something I need in this spot. I want to go to 2. Not really. No, I don't really want to go to 2. I could also just play second Fable instead of playing Mightstone Weakstone. It actually sounds like a decent plan. That way I do get the treasure. There's no way for me to play this and this, because the mana can't be used on non-artifacts. I would get to discard this as well. You know what? Let's just do it. I feel like it's a safer play. And it lets me hold this for maybe a removal spell on Shield Red if it ever comes to that. We're only 2 invokes down. Not bad. Another Corpse Appraiser. It's unfortunate. Yeah, this kind of position reminds me that I don't know. Then again, if I did draw my 4th land, I think this game would have been a lot easier, if not just completely in my favor. So I don't know if I should call this that bad of a matchup in the end. It just feels bad when they really push from ahead, right? When they shove you further and further behind. That's when it feels really bad. I might have to remove that instead of drawing. We'll see what I get here. All right, that is okay actually. Now I don't think I need to remove that. I'm okay with double blocking potentially. That is very unfortunate. That is extremely unfortunate. That is exactly the one of the that is one of the worst things that could happen. Oh god. It could, yeah, it had to be actual hard counter to play around that. Now I might lose to both of these. It's really dependent on my next draw, although I did draw a lot of land already. So there's definitely a chance that I draw something good, like a Cityscape Leveler, or oh, I need some kind of removal, or Hearse maybe actually. Hearse is not terrible. You know what? Hearse is definitely not terrible. That would allow me to play around the. Oh, that's interesting. I have to go for this block. Oh wow. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Holy shit, that's really fine, but that's still a little bit unfortunate in the end. I get a full reset, but I also reset my own Fable. And they have a blood token. Alright. We're at 8 mana. That's crucial. 8 mana I can place I can cast the Cityscape Leveler. I can cast Mightstone, Weakstone. Saheeli would be a good draw. Fable. I have no more Bankbusters. I can't believe they did not cast that. Wow, they're so lucky. Holy shit, they should have cast that, but they got rewarded for it. That's insane. The odds of them getting rewarded for that play are low. Very low. They got mega rewarded. Holy shit. Yeah, it's like fucking too late now I drew this. Wow. I can't believe they actually didn't go for duress in that spot when I'm playing counter magic. Just freely played around everything. Okay. Well, again, Stern Lesson is something I'm considering removing. I feel like you still need it, but you don't need it that much. They're also running a little bit more of a lower curve. So having more copies of Brotherhood's End sounds reasonable to me as well. I'm actually curious if I'm just wrong for boarding out Battalion. Could be the case. I think on the play I should play 3, but I'm cutting string. This deck is so weird. I don't really understand it. Am I even supposed to board in Hearse in this matchup? I think I am. Yeah, I really think I am. Oh man. Also, I don't even know if they're running Shield Red, so maybe something like Disdainful Stroke isn't even that good. It does counter Invoke though. Yeah, something like a Braid maybe is the card I should consider cutting. Alright, let's try this. A little bit more aggressive with the Skitter Beams. I kind of wish this deck had like something like a wedding announcement. That way the Skitter Beams would be 3/3s. But then you would probably lose the You know what's really unfortunate? Oh my god, I have to keep this too. This sucks. This deck needs land. Like I have to keep this. It's really unfortunate. One thing I haven't drawn is Field of Ruin. Again, I mostly lost to Field of Ruin as Mardu. So I'm surprised I haven't been finding them. Would make my life a little bit easier. We have a pretty decent hand, all things considered. It just depends on what I draw. Like the lands are really good for obvious reasons. Gonna go ahead and cycle. Wow. I'm surprised they are willing to just slam that. Pretty unfortunate. Well, then again, that probably means they have no counterspell. So that's a good sign. Overall. I think I drew pretty well. I'm happy about all of this. I've got a sweeper, I've got 2 fables, which is good. Now I just need a little bit more to tie things over, and we're good to go. A counterspell would be something I'm looking forward to. Once I get this hearse down, it will turn off their appraisers. I know they're playing the appraisers post board too. Oh, they're taking their time. That's interesting. I mean, it must be a tough decision, but duress. Again, that's probably okay. Yeah, that's actually fine. They can take the hearse, but eh. Better than them taking a counterspell if I had it. They might not even take the hearse, but I think they should. It'll hurt them eventually, unless... Okay, if they don't take the hearse, they have an abrade. It's pretty straightforward, I think. I think they might consider Brotherhood's End. We'll see. I still have 2 more. I considered them taking Brotherhood's End when I decided to play 3 instead of 2. Sure, that's totally fine. Yeah, that's okay. Guess we play the hearse. And, yeah, that's about it. I have to hold this for when this pops. They have multiple blue sources already, kind of not good for me. And I have somehow no card draw. Surprising in a deck like this. To not find anything really. Using the treasure doesn't feel smart, so let's just counter. Interesting that they even consider going for that there. Actually, I only have 1 card in hand. It's not that unlikely that I just don't have anything. It's not that bad of a play, I would say. They didn't get punished for it. Playing the land out doesn't feel that good. Gives them too much information as well. I feel like just popping this now is maybe smart. 1 less access to blue. I guess I take a blue source instead of a red source. I feel like I've definitely drawn below average. But I did keep a land heavy hand and I mulliganed already, so I didn't have much of a choice. That was the problem. There's no way going to 5 is correct in a grindy matchup. If only I had a good opening hand. Yeah, yikes. Actually, that's not that bad, because I'm gonna sweep this anyways. So they do draw one less card. Trying another Brotherhood Zen there, instead of literally anything else. I don't even have that much interaction left. Like, this is definitely one of the worst draws possible. Counter magic would be better. Buster, Stern Lesson. Yeah, the Wandering Mind version is really hurting me here. So much card advantage. It would be okay if I had my own card advantage, but I'm not finding it. I really need Mightstone, Weakstone into like Bankbuster here. It's the only thing I can possibly think of that would put me in a good spot. At the very least, a singular Bankbuster, maybe. Maybe Sahili. I mean, I'll take anything but removal. I think counter magic would be mediocre, but like a good piece of counter magic here. Be okay. They're really taking their time too. It's a little bit annoying, but I understand. I don't want to lose this. Just unfortunate for for you guys, I guess. Especially if I'm gonna lose this in the end. The slog. I guess I can start talking about the conclusion on this deck. I think, well, on my first impression, so just 2 matches in, I do think it's good. I think it's good. Is it tier 1? I always consider tier 1 to be like the top 3 decks. Let me think about this. The counter magic, and I just drew a drop, which is uncastable. I enable their corpse appraiser. Would be pretty bad. But I also don't want to take 2 every turn. Can I have to cast this? Okay. So, I don't think it's tier 1, but it could be. If you consider that tier 1 always has 3 decks, this might be the 3rd deck. So what I'm thinking is Grixis, Mardu, and then this. Could be a thing. I think it's good. It needs some polishing, I think. In this matchup specifically. I feel like the deck has a good matchup chart overall, except for Grixis. I feel like Grixis is really close, if not just bad. That's really unlucky. They hit another creature of the Corpse Appraiser. Oh man. And I drew another 8-drop. Okay, well, to be honest, this game went terribly, but I don't think it's a really good representation of what the deck can do. I just got unlucky, I feel like. I mean, I should concede, but I'll let it play out one turn. Yeah, yeah. There's the bank buster I needed 3 turns ago, or more than that. Okay. Anyways, I think this deck could be tier 1. Now that I'm playing it, I faced pretty much the worst matchup twice in my opinion, and it felt okay. But when you're behind, it feels unwinnable. That's the problem. I feel like this deck needs something something that helps you from behind. When you're ahead, it's easy, but then it just feels like a coin flip matchup, right? Like matchups where the person who's ahead is, it's almost unlosable for them. That's pretty bad in the grand scheme of things to have a matchup like this. And Grixis has more tools to counteract what you're doing compared to us counteracting what they're doing. Like we have to board in the graveyard hate. All they have to do is board in a few more counter spells and abrades, and suddenly they're kind of destroying half your game plan. That's why I think it's not a good matchup. And also duress is really brutal in a deck like this, because you don't have that much interaction. You're relying on like half interaction, half card draw spells. So, and when those card draw spells are tied to permanents that they can destroy with a braid, it doesn't feel great. Anyways, I'll play some more of it. So if you're excited about that, then look forward to it. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.